Hello, I'm Jeff Huff. This is the West Zoning Board meeting. It is 6:30. So I would like to have a roll call and get this meeting started.
Jeff Huff,
Present.
Craig Connell,
Here.
John DeGran,
Here.
Terry Atwell,
Here.
Donna Getzman is absent, Bob Paulson,
Here.
Roger Spears.
Here.
All right.
I will go
Ready
ahead
to
and
go.
proceed with the Zoom statement.
Okay.
This meeting is now being recorded in the board hearing room with the zoning board members attending in person. There is also an option for virtual attendance on Zoom webinar. For Zoom participants wishing to speak, please use the raise hand function in the Zoom app at the start of the agenda item on which you desire to comment. Comments will be received from in-person attendees first, followed by Zoom participants. When it is your turn to speak, the moderator will recognize you by the name or phone number used to join the Zoom webinar, and your microphone will be unmuted. Please state your name and the city and state where you reside for the record, followed by your comments. All public speakers will be limited to 3 minutes unless the chair designates a different time period in order to accommodate all the speakers. If you have trouble with Zoom, please call 913-715-9666. Board members, staff, and presenters, please state your name every time you begin talking, and please speak into the microphone so that people attending via Zoom can hear your comments, and also your comments can be transcribed for the record. This is a public meeting. We are presenting live and recording. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so moving to the agenda items. First one, add, delete, revise, or approve the agenda. Any changes to it? Disclosure of conflicts of interests and disclosure of external contacts or discussions. I see no across the board. If I could get a motion to approve the minutes.
I would move that we approve the minutes of the meeting.
A second?
Second.
All right, so all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I have no opposed, so we are approval of the minutes. Let's move to the board reports, Board of County Commissioner actions. Sean?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, zoning board member Sean Pendley, county planning staff. For the Board of County Commissioners actions, the only update to report is that there was a final development plan that was considered by this board at the last month meeting. If you recall, the final development plan for the building addition for steel and pipe supply company at New Century Air Center. The board did recommend approval of that final development plan, and that is scheduled for the BOCC meeting for tomorrow. So there'll be a final decision for that application tomorrow. For planning commission actions, we had a planning commission meeting on October 24th. And at that meeting, we had a study session for the airport compatibility plans for both Executive Airport and New Century Air Center. There will be a public hearing scheduled with the planning commission in December. I believe it's December 19th. There's also a public hearing with the airport commission on December 6th. So we're preparing for the public hearings. And then it will go on once the planning commission consider those updates, their updates to the rural comprehensive plan. Once they make a recommendation and the airport commission makes a recommendation, it'll go on to BOCC for a study session and action. We expect that to be adopted early 2024. In addition, the planning commission also had a couple of other agenda items that would be worth noting for the zoning boards. They are reviewing right now. Staff is presenting amendments to the zoning regulations regarding lot of record date. We have, if you recall, we've had some applications recently with requests for different lot sizes and consideration of the lot of record date, and that affects the subdivision regulations. We're recommending that we update the regulations to move the lot of record date up from 1982 to 2007. And that will allow for an easier way to apply some of their zoning and subdivision regulations. There's a question sometimes in some applicants, if you recall, I think there was it was the previous board, I believe is the Southwest Zoning Board. There was a property owner who had a concern about their ability to obtain a building permit on a lot which was not eligible for permit because of the timing of the way it was subdivided. So that's one issue we look at with that. And just to clarify and make it easier to process these types of applications, we're recommending a change on the lot of record date. The Planning Commission generally was supportive of that. So we're going to have a public hearing coming up at the meeting in December for the, it's next week. It's right after Thanksgiving, November 28th, two weeks. The Planning Commission in November, they'll have a public hearing on that item. And so we'll be considering updates to the regulations for lot of record. The other update to note, we had a discussion also regarding CUP notice area requirements. You're familiar with that. If we have any kind of a conditional use permit application, there's often a question as to the notice area, what should apply? Should it be the standard 1,000 feet as it is today? Or should it maybe be something more? There's been a request from the Planning Commission for staff to consider alternative options for notice, potentially increasing the notice area. Staff is still researching that. That won't be ready for any kind of a hearing or a public hearing until probably beginning of 2024. But that's something that we're researching. We're also considering options for requiring a neighborhood meeting for those applications before the public hearing. So we're considering different options. But that was something we had a discussion with the Planning Commission, and they had quite a bit of discussion on that. But we'll be bringing those back for public hearing sometime early 2024. So that's it for the board reports. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Sean Terry Atwell, I do have a question on the move to the 2007 on those non-conforming illegal lot splits. Was your discussion about how those will be done? Will they be able to be done administratively, or will they go through like an engineering surveying process?
For the change that we're recommending for moving the lot of record up, that would not require an applicant to do any kind of surveying or do any other kind of review before the zoning boards or BOCC. So in effect, I guess it would be administrative. It's just, we're saying if we do move the lot of record up, basically anything that's out there prior to 2007, if it was deeded and split before that date, that would become the new legal lot of record date. So there wouldn't be a need to do anything else in terms of a review from the zoning board. But anything after that date, people know now, okay, the new lot of record date is going to be this. If it's approved as it's proposed, 2006 would be the cutoff. So anything after that, you have to follow the regs, as it is. But that's what is proposed now. We'll see what the Planning Commission decides in the November 28th meeting.
Is it the 20th or the 21st?
Oh, the next Planning Commission meeting is November 28th.
Oh, 28th? Okay,
Yeah, so after Thanksgiving.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so next is the business before the board. And the first one, the applicant is requesting a continuance to December 20th, 2023. And so there were some people here earlier, but because of the continuance, we don't need to vote on the continuance, do we? Or do we need to do that? Approve
Yes,
it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Sean Penley, planning staff. Yes, the board will need to make a motion to continue this application. The applicant is requesting a continuance in this case. So there were some property owners and neighbors who came out to speak on this application. But the applicant is requesting a continuance. They're not ready to hear this item at this time. So they're requesting a continuance to the next meeting on December 20th. So the board will need to make a motion and vote on a continuance to allow that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
So can
there's really no other updates that I have at this time. We will, as we explained to some of the neighbors, staff will send a courtesy letter out to all those people within 1,000 feet. They got the original notice. We'll send them an updated notice letting them know of the new hearing date.
So they'll be notified,
They will be
signage and all of that stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
new signs need to be posted by the applicant. That's correct.
Okay. So can I get a motion?
John DeGrand, I move that we continue application number W 23-353-REZGA, rezoning 19370 Clare Road to the December meeting.
Terry Atwell, second.
Okay, all of those approved of the continuation, would please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, we have agreed upon that. Okay, so we're going to go to the second one, application number W23-356-REZGA, rezoning 15360 Lake Road, 10th Street, application number 23-357-PP/FPGA, preliminary and final plat, 15360 Road, Lake Road, 10th Street. And then if we could have the staff present. Thank you.
Good evening, Michelle Leininger, County Planning staff. These applications for rezoning from PRU 1B and RUR to PRU 1B. This is a vicinity map which shows the location of the parcels, and they're located on the east side of Gardner Lake between 151st and 159th Street. The intent is for the two platted lots on one parcel to be combined for a single family home to be constructed at some time in the future. Here's an aerial of the properties. Again, it includes two platted parcels, which you don't see the plat lines, but there's two there. And then the Gardner, what we call the Gardner Lake parcels, which are the slivers that are along the lake that a lot of the property owners have been buying from the city of Gardner. As you can see, there's an existing house on the property that is proposed to remain for the time being until they decide that they want to tear down and start over. Here is the zoning in the area. The green is the RUR. The zoning map's a little messed up, but and then the yellow is the PRU 1B. The two platted lots are zoned PRU 1B. Then the lake parcel is zoned rural. The parcel property is the lake parcel property. When it's sold to the property owners are then transferred to the rural district. And so they need to be rezoned in order to be the same zoning district for combination. The zoning is consistent with the surrounding properties, as you can see, and the character of the area, and it would not detrimentally affect nearby properties. Here's the preliminary plat. The subdivision regulations are met with this plat, with the exception of one waiver for an existing 5-foot setback for the house. This would be applicable for that structure only. And once that structure is removed, any new structures would have to meet the current setbacks of the zoning district. Additionally, there's a minimum infrastructure waiver or exception from the type B collector standards for Gardner East Road. It's supposed to be built to a type B collector, and it doesn't function as that on the east side of the lake. So we've been processing these waivers or exceptions for the type B collector standards. Johnson County Public Works and planning staff do support this waiver. Staff does recommend approval of the rezoning preliminary plat with the exception and waiver and the final plat. Here are two suggested motions. I've kind of lumped them together for my recommendation, but they do need to be made separately and acted on separately. And I can answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? I'm seeing everybody is in agreement up here, so thank you very much. now we're going to open it up for public hearing and public comments. And if you do have anything you would like to say, it'd be 3 minutes or less per individual. If you'd provide your name, city, state for the record. Is anybody that would like to speak towards this specific? I see no heads shaking back there, so it looks like we are good. So at this point, we would close the public hearing. Okay, so we can do that. And then we didn't have any questions for her. We don't have any questions. So it looks like at this point, I would need a motion and a second to approve this.
Bob Paulson, I move to approve the rezoning from PRU 1B and RUR districts to the PRU 1B district for the reasons listed in the staff report.
Greg Connell, I second.
All right, all of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I have all ayes from here, so motion moves.
Okay, Bob Paulson again. I move to approve a preliminary and final plat for one residential lot to be known as Casper Commons with the plat exception as outlined in the staff report, and approve the requested minimum infrastructure waiver for the reasons and subject to the stipulations recommended by staff and listed in the staff report.
Greg Connell, I second.
All right, all of those in agreement, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No, we are 6-0 on that. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Oh, it looks like. Is there any other
Mr. Chairman.
business
Oh,
to
Mr.
bring?
Chairman,
Oops, sorry.
Sean Penley, planning staff.
Oh, that's
We'll
right.
just need to note the date for that to be heard by the Board of County Commissioners. Do you have that, Michelle?
This will be heard by the Board of County Commissioners at their December 14th meeting that's held here at the County Administration Building, 111 South Cherry Street. The meeting begins at 9:30 a.m.
All right. Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Appreciate that. Any other business? Does not look like there is. Can I get a move to adjourn?
Terry Atwell, move to adjourn.
Second.
Bob Paulson, I second.
All of those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, this meeting is adjourned.
Records next time we get it up.